Express elevator to hell. Going down.
One. Mark.
What is going on YouTube? It's Brendan for Market Makers. Boy, has the landscape got even worse since my last video. If you guys saw my YouTube post I told you I was going to do an emergency video today because a lot of action happened. So let's just recap what's happened since the last video. We get a lot of new subs all the time on the channel. Please do remember, hit the like, hit the subscribe. So since the last video, guys, Silvergate officially went under. That bank is a zero. Silicon Valley Bank officially went under. That bank is a zero. The feds went in there, took it over. And then on Sunday, New York Signature Bank went under. The feds took that over. Charles Schwab got suspended from trading today because their stock was taking such a massive hit. We had an emergency Fed meeting, and then the president did an emergency speech today saying, don't worry, everything's financially secure. The banking system's strong. We're going to backstop or make guaranteed every single person's deposits. Now, he implied every single bank across the country, as well as deposits above 250K and deposits below 250K. When he was asked for clarification on that, being President Biden, probably not knowing where he is, he said nothing and just walked away. So, but that's the implication. And they're repeating that over and over again on the news that basically the federal government, in a sense, took over the banking system because what they did does not prevent a bank run. In other words, you can all go to a bank and get your money. They're guaranteeing the money will be there. And of course, they said it will cost the taxpayers nothing. They did this to settle the financial system. Tomorrow's the CPI. USDC briefly lost its peg because it had $3 billion in that Silicon Valley Bank. Silicon Valley Bank is now the second largest bank failure in United States history. Guys, if you've been a long-time sub, which many of you have from reading the comments, you know we've been talking about this for over a year. What was my baseline prediction? You can see it in my videos. Financial crisis is the baseline prediction. This bubble that we have a bubble in real estate, a bubble in equities. This is the first multi-pronged bubble we've ever had in the history of this country. We had equities and .com. We had real estate and great financial crisis with the subprime. You have them combined now. You have to understand that. So bank failures is just part of the program. You're going to have more. The tip of the iceberg, people keep saying that, but it's very true. The VIX spiking up. It hit a level of 31. The VIX has been really tame for a while. We got to get into these charts, guys. Going to look at crypto, going to look at a lot of different things. If you want to come check out our room, now is the time to do it. We shorted the European indices. We made trades on those. I just did a scalp on the S&P. We had our bigger swing trades I've shared with you guys as well. It is a place to trade. Check out SimpleFX, a decentralized exchange. They cannot trade against you. It is zero deposit limits, zero withdrawal limits. Guys, there's no spot there. It's pure futures trading. They've been around since 2014. You can trade everything in USDC or USDT. It is a great exchange to trade all the equities, commodities, Forex, and a handful of cryptos on. And I'm bringing up BingX last for a very specific reason. I went out and sought BingX to be an affiliate of our program. There's a reason for that because all the big crypto exchanges are now doing withdrawal limits. I looked into Bybits just as an example, $100,000 a month, $20,000 a day. Now that may cover most of you. You may say, yeah, I'm not going to switch. I'm okay with that. Why are they doing limits? Do you understand why they're doing limits? Because all the big crypto exchanges are centralized and they are afraid of a bank run, just like Silicon Valley Bank, which, by the way, went bankrupt in a day. 320 billion in assets went bankrupt in a day. So all the big crypto exchanges are doing this now with tightening the noose of what you can withdraw. None of them advertise it. You have to go search for it on their platform. BingX allows you to withdraw 1.5 million a month on our link. $50,000 a day with no cap throughout the whole month. I think that will cover just about everybody. If you want to be on a traditional exchange, guys, check out BingX. We do have a private tournament starting soon on BingX. I'll give you more details on that. And check out SimpleFX if you want to trade on a decentralized Forex exchange with zero withdrawal limits. Let's go ahead and jump into this. All right, guys, so the VIX, remember the market makers Caterpillar have been beating this to death. As this channel opens, the VIX is going to climb. This is our triple layered Bollinger Bands. If we look at the XLF, this is the financial sector, guys. I went ahead and threw a trend-based fib on here. The same thing we did on all the indices utilizing Dow theory and Fibonacci waves. You can see we fell right to the 382, have a nice gap right there, fell right to the 382. We hit the 486 retracement at $30 already. When this thing comes down, I know people are going to ask me what's the financials going to do, because you hear on TV, they're buying, right? They're like, oh, this is a great time to buy financials. So just looking at this, guys, coming down to the one fib, you're looking at $24 if any of you trade XLF. And really, again, just basically, just as a rule of thumb, if you don't know the exact level and your friends ask you and you like this TA that I'm showing you because you believe that the market cycle is going to repeat as I do, and they say, where do you think the market's going? As a rule of thumb, you can say pandemic lows, because most of the 1618s are lining up back at the pandemic lows when the bubble started, when trillions upon trillions was printed and put into the marketplace and the government spent trillions on top of that. That's how you get massive bubbles, guys. And when the bubble deflates, the market has a mean reverting mechanism. It tends to go past where it's supposed to go, but that's where the 1618 is, 17.64. The financial sector is weak. Regional banks are being destroyed. Now, what I want to show you before we jump to Bitcoin, you guys have seen this a couple times now. This is .com on the left. This is the modern market on the right. This is the E-mini. Very important, because the E-mini charts slightly differently than just looking at the index of the S&P, okay? So I want to show you, because this is a .com pattern, same exact bar count, 9 bars, 63 days on that rally, 16 bars, 112, 963 on the right, 16, 112. I told you we had to hold this trend line. If you look, we're holding the trend line. Do you see this? So this is .com on the left. After the 112-day rally, 16 bars in a weekly time frame, pivot, came down, back tested the trend line. 16 bars, 112 days, pivot, came down, back tested the trend line. This green line, my friends, is the spring equinox. And .com, it provided your local high before you then sold off 20, what is that, 20 or 30%? Let's go ahead and measure it. I did this last video. I don't remember what it was. So this fell 34% Fibonacci, okay? After the spring equinox, that provided your local high. Your spring equinox is right here. Now remember, the CPI comes out tomorrow. The CPI is predicted to come in lower. It was 6.4 last month. I've seen ranges from 6.2 to 6.0. If you get a low CPI, even with the travesty that's happened in the financial sector, I still think you're going to get a rally and you will get this move up. Remember, the co-equal high for a double top is a possibility. That's back at 4,200, guys, and it doesn't have to get up there. We're going to look at this with fibs as well as zoomed in on the daily time frame, because there's some obvious targets that you want to track. But I want to show you something that's also very amazing. Simple moving average, the 50 on the weekly time frame. Look what you did in .com. See the spring equinox? You back tested the 50 a couple of times and failed, and that's when you went down 34%. Where's your 50 over here, you may ask? So let's look at the 50. Oh, you're below the 50, just like you were in .com, printing the exact same candlestick pattern on the S&P. So if you were to come up to that 50, let's see where that 50 is at. It is at 39.84 on the weekly. 39.84. Okay, 39.84. So watch that level, very important level. You're at 39.28. We're going to look at this on the daily time frame. Again, guys, identical pattern to the candlestick on the rallies. We'll see what this drop does. This would be at least a 20% drop to come down to that target, 31.41. Looking at the S&P on the daily, you can see it's trying to recover. Here's your 200. Again, another obvious checkpoint here for price. You back tested it on this daily candle. Your 200 is at 39.35. So now you have 39.80, 39.35. These are important levels. And if you look up here, where is your 45 angle? It is right about 4,000, depending where you hit on here, down to 39.85. Again, important quadrants. Let's pull a fib. Look at the candles, by the way, guys. Remember last video, I said when you have a bunch of low volume candles, you are susceptible to a breakout volume bar to the upside or downside, and we got it to the downside. 2 3 sigma bars in a row to give you this drop. But the market, man, they want this thing to rally. Guys, this is big money. If you understand something watching this channel, people label me a perma bear. What I am is somebody that wants to make money as a professional trader. I do this full time. I don't have a backup to go back to a job. I'm retired. I want to make money. So understanding the cycle, understanding the trend, that is how you want to view this. Okay. You want to view it as somebody that wants to make money. And as Wyckoff said, view the whole market. Wyckoff, Dow, Gann, they all preached about the market being manipulated. View the whole market as a single entity. Wyckoff called it the composite man trading against you. Okay. So the idea is to follow the money, to trade with the money. And my hypothesis here, being in this bubble cycle, they want to push this up a little bit to unload on retail and then dump it. Okay. Remember, this is not a game where everybody gets a trophy. There's winners and there's losers, and the winners get all the money and the losers get liquidated. Okay. That's the game we're playing here. It's a dangerous game. I'm just handing out some market makers red pills for the market matrix that we're trading in. So this is what we're going to look at here. Let's go ahead and throw a trend-based fib on here. I want to do this from the impulse here, from that high to that swing low up to that swing high. You can see we bounce right off the 1 fib, 38.18. And now we're trying to struggle between 38.73, 39.16. We scalped this back here at 38.73 and got a nice drop off of it. And now we pump back up. And this is where price is trying to hang out right here at the top of Wyckoff. Low CPI. Watch for a back test of this area. Okay. There's your 39.50 and 39.76 off the trend-based fib. But let's do this. Let's see if we have anything. Let me just do what basic TA people would do working at a hedge fund or working at a bank. Go to your all-time high, January 4th, and let's go to our absolute low. And let's just see where these key levels are. The 382 is right here at the 45, lines up perfectly with the spring equinox, and that's at just under 4,000, 3,997. So remember, last video I was showing you if we could hold this 45 where the upside would be. I think that upside's very limited now, given what's happened in the economic situation in the US. So when you look at this 3,997, if you can flip the 200, if you can flip 39.80, watch for 4,000. Just round it up 3 points. Keep that number in your head. Big psychological number. You'd be retesting the 45, okay? Retesting the 45 angle, going towards that spring equinox, and then we have that following pivot on April 14th. Now, what could the spring equinox bring? Remember, this is a pivot point. It doesn't mean you're going down. It is a pivot point, potentially for reversal of trend or acceleration of trend. If Powell doesn't raise rates, if he pauses, you know that's going to be bullish for the markets. So if Powell says, and there's a lot of people predicting he's going to pivot, there's a lot of economists saying he won't pivot. What I personally think he's going to do, even if inflation comes down, because he came off like such a hawk and credibility is so important for the Fed, he's going to raise 25 basis points. How the market digests that, we'll have to see when we get there, guys. But if inflation comes in hot, just forget it. Okay, if inflation comes in hot, this market's going to dump. So wherever you're at is where you're going to get to. But if on the Fed meeting 2 days after the spring equinox, Powell does pivot, if that camp is right, if Powell chickens out, pivot, says, you know what, we're going to look around and pause. We're really happy to see the disinflation that we've had in the CPI. So we're going to just wait and see how the market digests all this. I think you're going to be rallying. And then I'd be looking at that 43-day pivot that has given us every single key pivot for the S&P. I show you this all time. Very important. 43 days, top. 43 days, bottom. 43 days, top. 43 days, top again, and let's see what happens here. If we get a boost from Powell, if he pivots, CPI's low, look for something like this. and this would be your next pivot point, and it could provide your top and your drop. That's the April 14th. Remember the spring equinox in .com, the actual local high happened on the spring equinox. Could play out the exact same way, which would be mind-blowing, and nobody's going to know about it except you guys watching this channel. But we also have the Fed at play here, and as you can see, when you are in a bubble cycle, you get external catalysts that come into the market. You're going to hear people call these black swans. Black swan is an event that cannot be predicted. This has been predicted by me, by many people, Jeremy Grantham, Ray Dalio, Jim Rickards, that this was going to happen, okay? This was just a matter of time to have bank failures because you're in a bubble cycle. So this is the key pivot point we want to watch coming up here, guys. Let's see if we get some euphoria. Let's see if we can back test the 200 once again. If you can get above it, if that CPI comes in low, I would not be surprised. Watch 4,000, very key number here in the marketplace, S&P wise. Let's go ahead and jump to Bitcoin. I know you guys are chomping at the bit. What does he think about Bitcoin? Get to Bitcoin already. All right, so looking at the weekly time frame where we have our levels here, just want to zoom this in a little bit because remember I told you this was like a disjointed double top, and of course it broke down. Look at that, and then came back up. What does that mean? Let's go ahead and look at this on the daily. These are my macro daily levels. These are the 23,103 and the 24,080 where I gave you that trade, 25,180 where you got this trade. If any of you kept this trade open, please do tell me in the comments because you deserve a congratulations because I got out of the trade somewhere in that consolidation period. But if you kept it open this whole time, that's awesome. So let's look at this with a new set of fibs. Let's take our trend-based fib. Remember, a trend-based fib is simulating a wave action. It's basically simulating an ABC correction. I want to take this from where this starts to really pivot out, impulse out to the upside. It's not the absolute low, okay? Let's go there, and then let's go to this first high of that first top, and then down to that swing low. And where are we at on this? Here you got to the 382 at 24,392. This would have you at 46 at 25,218, 26,266. So again, those numbers aren't that different. Let's try a tighter fib projection. Here's our 45 angle that we had that we pumped back through. Let's do it from the inside, that neckline of this disjointed double top. Come up to that high, come down to that low. And look at that. You hit the 1272 at 24,546. So this is interesting layout as well. This is going to depend, and I know a lot of you are probably going to ask, let me save you the time. Brendan, does this mean crypto disconnected from the equities market since the equities went down? You got to remember the equities didn't go down a lot. The S&P is only down. Where is the S&P chart? It's only down. Oh, it's actually up spot 12%. So yes, it did sell off, but on the day here, it's up spot 14%. So crypto going up and the markets going up, that's not disconnected, okay? So you have to understand crypto went down. Look at this, back tested its 200, bounced up. And what you're doing here, by the way, is potentially making a head and shoulders. If we get a low CPI and the markets do rally, crypto's going to rally, guys. I mean, we've talked about those targets before. Let me get that older fib retracement or the trend-based fib back out here so you can see this. So you got to look at your previous areas of resistance when you're talking about what the possibilities are. Why is that important? Because that's where you failed before. So you have to look at this drawdown from that short that I gave you at 25,180. Price came down. I mean, massive trade, guys, 22%. 22%. So if we can flip the 1272 at 25,180, because as you can tell, this is tracking accurately. So I want to continue to use it because there's a larger expansion here in a daily time frame. We need our other fibs. 1414, 1618. Okay. And let's see where we're at here. That should be enough because this is upside. So 1272 is 25,180. 1414 is 26,264. These are two levels I would watch closely. And if you came up to the golden ratio, remember, this is going all the way back on this trend-based fib, June of 2022. All the way up to August 15th of 2022, all the way down here to November 9th of 2022. Okay, so this is way back, and this has been tracking beautifully. So I would look for that golden ratio target of 27,821 if the CPI is lower and if you see the equities markets rally. CPI is hot. they're all dumping. Okay. So just be aware of that. Be very careful when you're trading parabolic risk based assets. Volume ratio market makers here, we got oversold. In the bearish territory on money flow, these are all indicators you get for free as a gift when you join our free room by trying out a platform, my friends. So definitely consider doing that. And let's look at this. Oh, what's this last thing? I want to show you what we shorted. We shorted the French index and the German index in the room. Caught this nice drop. I stayed up till 4 a.m. to get this trade. My family's from Germany, as many of you know. And this was a fantastic drop here on the index. And so we're going to keep monitoring that. And I'll track that. I don't know how many. We do have quite a bit of Europeans that watch this show. So let me know if you guys do want to see more stuff on the French 40 and the German 40, the DAX and the CAC. And guys, this is the Russell trade I gave you on YouTube. I mean, look at this drop. Look how beautiful this trade is. We lost the 200. All those small regional banks, a lot of them are in the Russell. Okay. And that's part of this reason for this drop 13, 14% drop. Now, Russell's trying to base too. I'm telling you that .com pattern may be indeed playing out, and I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. We'll see if the Russell holds this base. Fell just about to the 1 fib at 1716. Let's continue moving forward. The NASDAQ, many of you are interested in this. NASDAQ held its 45, trying to hold its 200. The actual price of the 200 here is 11,885. 11,885. And you can see the 618 is at 11,871. Price is up here at 12,020. So you got a nice bounce back up. You want to see if you can continue to hold this. And if you look at this, guys, again, we're going to track this to see where this can get to, but this is going to be correlated, obviously, with the S&P. Let's take a trend. Let's just take a fib retracement from that high to that new low. And you can see you have double layered fib confluence here right at that 12,100-ish level, 12,080. And then you want to watch 12,195, 12,336 in this cluster right here. And that may be where you get to. We'll see how euphoric this is. Again, I don't know what the CPI print's going to be, guys. I can only report to you that what I'm reading and what the Fed is predicting, okay? Let's check out gold, because gold is a fear trade. Remember, I said gold was going to go down when the markets go down. The markets haven't cratered yet, okay? When the markets crater, if the cycle repeats like the great financial crisis, which I made a video on as well, gold went down 34%, silver went down 61%. But what you have now is a financial crisis, but you're not seeing the full effects of it yet in the market. The market is hanging on, but that pivot date is coming up soon where you will see it in the market. So in the meantime, those of you that do like to trade metals, these are the levels we've been talking about for a rebound, right? So watch 1926, watch 1959. And again, we have to see how gold reacts. If that CPI is low, you got to see how gold reacts here. But these are key levels here on gold. And if we look over at silver, which I know many of you prefer, again, more parabolic than gold, we came down. We got a nice 14, 15% move in silver off our trade. Let's take that off. Let's take a fib retracement from this impulse high down to this low. You're just now hitting the 3D2 at 27 or 21.71. Watch the 618, guys. 618 and 786, and obviously this trend line, which has been in place for years, which provided me with many fantastic trades, as you can see, including this one that I shared with you guys here at 24.41. Watch this trend line, but retracement wise, look at 22.83 and the 786 at 23.626. If this continues to rise and starts to lose steam, if it does, could provide another excellent short opportunity. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please do hit the like and subscribe. And the next video will be out Thursday because today's Monday. So check out that video as well. Take care, everybody. I will answer all your comments, questions in the video description. Take care, everybody.